You don't need a designer budget to get a designer home. You just need the right techniques. Today, I'm showing you how to create 3 high-end decor pieces for a fraction of the retail price. I'm going to show you exactly how to style them in your home so they look like they came straight out of a magazine. We're turning scrap wood into a gorgeous primitive riser, creating a vintage framed art piece, and giving a thrifted tray a high-end glow up. If you're ready to elevate your space without breaking the bank, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. We are starting with my favorite way to turn trash into a centerpiece. Starting with a simple piece of wood from my stash. Now it's freezing -30 Celsius outside right now, so a long session in the garage wasn't happening. I did a quick sub-zero sand with 120 grit sandpaper and my orbital sander to smooth the surface and round out the edges. Once I thawed out inside, it was time for cleaning. I used Dixie White Lightning, which is an essentially tool for removing any hidden oils or dirt so the stain can bond perfectly. Since I'm going for a primitive look, I grabbed a few different screwdrivers and went to town, adding scratches, dents, and gouges to give this new wood some instant history. Now for the star of the show, Chestnut No Paint Gel Stain. This shade is so rich and warm. Always wear gloves unless you want chestnut fingers for a week. I applied the stain using a paper towel. On the raw wood, it soaked in beautifully, highlighting all those primitive marks I just made. I also had these thrifted wooden feet that already had a finish on them. I wanted to show you that no paint gel stain isn't just for raw wood. It's amazing for going over existing finishes to change the tone. I let the stain sit on both the board and the feet for about 20 minutes. I wiped the board back with a clean paper towel and the result was soft and rich. Once the first coat was dry to the touch, I grabbed some high grit sanding block for a quick scuff sand. I lightly sanded the main board and those little thrifted feet. Now you might wonder why I'm sanding if I'm only doing a second coat on the feet and not the board. Here's the secret. Even if you aren't adding more color, a light sand after the first coat of no paint gel stain knocks down any raised grain or tiny dust nibs that might have settled. It's the difference between a project that looks DIY and one that feels like professional furniture. When you're adding a second coat like I did on the feet, sanding creates a tiny bit of tooth for the next layer to grab onto, ensuring the finish is buttery smooth and the color depth is perfectly even. It only takes a minute, but it makes the final result feel so much more high end. When I was applying the second coat, this time around I used a chippy brush to apply the gel stain. And I let that sit for another 20 minutes. Then I used a clean brush to pull back the excess. Using a brush instead of a towel on the second coat gives it a really high-end textured finish. After letting everything cure for about 24 hours, make sure it's no longer tacky, it was time to assemble the riser. I used the dynamic duo of glues, Gorilla for the permanent long-lasting bond and hot glue to hold the feet in place instantly while the Gorilla glue cures. I chose to offset the feet rather than centering them for a more modern artisan look. To protect the finish, I'm using Easy Peasy Spray Wax. This stuff is a lifesaver. It's eco-friendly, repels water and dirt, and dries in just 30 minutes. Gives the perfect matte look without any hassle. And here is how after 6 hours of curing, here is how the piece looks. For our next project, we're creating a vintage-inspired art piece. I am using the simple frame I found at Dollarama. I really loved the natural wood tone that the frame had, but any frame you have on hand will work. After removing the backing, I was originally hoping to just flip the existing art over to use the textured reverse side, but it was glued on tight. When a DIY doesn't go as planned, you just have to pivot. To create our vintage look, I'm using this beautiful decoupage rice paper from Dixie Belle in the traditional Peter Rabbit collection. It comes with three designs, but today I'm using the charming rabbit perched on a stack of books. Because the rice paper is slightly translucent, you need a clean, solid base so the old art doesn't show through. I'm applying a quick coat of Dixie Belle chalk paint in Magnolia. I chose chalk paint specifically for the heavy coverage. It only took one coat to completely hide the old design. Rice paper is incredibly versatile. If you have leftovers, you can use it to wrap candles, decorate furniture drawers, or even elevate plain terracotta pots. It's a designer's secret weapon for adding instant detail. Once the paint was dry, I cut out my image. To adhere it, I'm using gator hide. It's technically a sealer, but it works brilliantly as a high-end strength glue, though Mod Podge works great here too. I applied a thin layer, laid down the image, and smoothed it out. The backing of this frame actually had a slightly rippled texture. I decided to lean into that. The rice paper settled into those grooves beautifully, giving it an aged, weathered look that makes it feel like a true antique find. To finish it off and protect the piece, I added another layer of gator hide over the top. To really lean into that vintage aesthetic, I'm going in with some brown wax by Dixie Belle. This acts as an antiquing glaze to deepen the edges and add history. If you don't have wax, you can actually use chilled coffee to stain your paper for a similar effect, but the wax is a lot less messy. I reassembled the frame, and here is how it turned out. It's such a subtle, sophisticated nod to the season without feeling crafty. It looks like a boutique gallery piece. We've done the riser and the vintage art, but wait until you see what we do with the last thrifted DIY. If you love finding ways to make your home look expensive on a budget, make sure you're subscribed. And let me know in the comments, are you more of a primitive style person or vintage art lover? I'd love to hear your thoughts before we jump into our final makeover. Oh, and also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. You're thrifting, don't walk past those woven baskets or trays just because the color is ugly. You can easily update this with gel stain. I had this tray with a dated yellowish tone that I just didn't love. I started applying the chestnut stain with a foam brush, but I quickly learned my lesson. The woven texture just eats foam brushes for breakfast. I switched back to my paper towel for the main areas. After letting it sit for 20 minutes and wiping it back, I noticed the stain was clumping in the deep crevices of the wave. I grabbed a chip brush, and that was the magic touch. It smoothed out the stain in the hard to reach spots and gave the tray a professional, uniform finish. I let that cure for 24 hours and one coat of easy peasy spray wax later, and it looks like it came from a high-end home decor boutique. I am absolutely obsessed with how these turned out. That chestnut tone is exactly what I was looking for. It's warm, lived in, and so sophisticated. It's amazing how much a few intentional handmade pieces can change the entire vibe of a room. I hope seeing how I style these in my own home gives you some ideas for your space. Now, I want to know which of these DIYs was your favorite. Let me know in the comments. If you're going to try one of these this weekend, give this video a big thumbs up so I know to keep making more look for less content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.